we're back for another episode, and so excited we're talking over each other already. um, Obviously, the theme of this season is all about being visible online. So we've had we're lining up a few guests for this season, and one of those guests that we just couldn't wait to get on the podcast is actually one of our shared clients, who has recently relaunched her business with updated branding, messaging, and website. So basically getting really fucking visible, whether she likes it or not. And she was someone that we really wanted the audience to hear from and hear her story. So welcome to the podcast, Alison. Alison Marcuse-Harris is the Feel Good Movement Coach. She is spreading feel good movement for a fabulous midlife and beyond. Her people are the women who know that there's more to life, that this can't be all, and that midlife and beyond doesn't have to mean feeling tense, stiff, and weak. Alison is on a mission to get more women saying, I love my body, moving it, living in it, and dancing through life. Through an online on-demand program, weekly group classes in Pilates and stretch, and monthly workshops, Alison supports women who want more to discover a whole new way of moving and being. So welcome, Alison, to the podcast.
Welcome.
Oh, that sounds great. Hello, nice to be here with you both. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're delighted that you could join us.
Oh, I'm grinning from ear to ear.
You always are.
I know. Alison's always got
the old days.
Yeah, always lovely to have our calls when Alison brings that gorgeous smile with her. So Alison kind of obviously feels like a very kindred client for us to both work with. So Alison is a lovely conscious business owner, and she was really trying to forge her own path with what she was doing with her feel good movement, and wanted to kind of really, I guess, realign and get back in touch with her passion for it. And obviously we know that sort of, and I guess we'll dive into this more in the episode, that obviously COVID happened, things changed for obviously in-person classes, and obviously I know that sort of set you on a bit of a, like, you know, who am I now, where do I want my business to go, how do I want this to develop? So obviously kind of really trying to get back in touch with your own magic. So obviously we were very lucky that you came and found us. So I think you came first to Lee. So I know you came through a lovely common contact and friend, Vicky Schilling. I know you heard her speaking, and she's got her Just Start Now podcast, which I think you said you dived into, down the episode where Lee was talking about, you know, speaking the words for your business and making them connect. And obviously that hit a real nerve with you, and so you reached out to Lee.
I did, yeah. So it was by chance, really, and Lee was there chatting, and I really liked the way she was talking, and I just sent an email, and I think we sort of snowballed from there, didn't we, Lee?
We did. The hilarious thing is, before we hit record, you were saying how nervous you were about being on a podcast, but me being on Vicky's podcast was completely out of my comfort zone. It's the first podcast I'd ever done, and I hated it. I'm not a public speaker, but that you came to me because of that episode is just really funny, really.
Yeah, I must say it is. I think it's because you know that people are actually listening, and you're trying to sort of get yourself across, and yeah, really, actually, it's just like you two are doing, having a little chat, and I'm just interrupting, as I always do.
Go on,
you came to me, Alison, and we had a good old gab, as we do.
I came. And I think because when I was listening, I mean, it was quite. COVID was obviously a trying time for everybody, and what was good thing that came out of COVID was there's so many presenters that obviously we used to go to as an fitness instructor, used to go to live events, and so you'd only ever learn and pick up new ideas and meet other people through conventions or things like that. So all of a sudden everybody was coming on Zoom, and this is just brilliant to learn. And so I picked up lots of different things, and I was teaching different styles. I was online, I was in Facebook, I was trying to think about Zoom, but it didn't quite work with me. And obviously there was no face-to-face contact with my gorgeous clients. And so I was kind of thinking, I think I got a bit lost and a little bit menopausal, and I didn't really realize that I was kind of heading that way. And so when I sent that email to you and you came back, you said it's sort of a 20-minute chat just to see if I can help you. I think about an hour and a quarter later.
Famous last words.
We were thinking, well, actually, yeah, I think I really do need you to sign up. And you obviously explained exactly what you offered. And it just felt as if a weight lifted off my shoulders. And I thought, oh, somebody else is going to listen to me and understand where I need to go. And yeah.
It ended up being quite a process, didn't it? Because we started working out the sort of identity and mission and vision and that kind of stuff. And then when we tapped into that, like, right, so you need a website, because you hadn't had a website before at this point, had you?
No. And I knew that, and I'm part of, Rachel Holmes is a fantastic presenter. And so I did part of her course. Well, I did the Fitness Pilates course with her, and she's been amazing, and just trying to, inspire a lot of us instructors to get out there, to either try Zoom, try different, be creative. And she was saying, you need to get visible, you need to have a shop window, you need to have a website. And this is, she told us a Squarespace, there was all these WordPress, and I am so not marketing, I am not technical, I am nothing about all that. What I am good at is I love being with people, I love talking to people, I love being in front of people. And I just thought I could spend years trying to create a website. And I knew the work that we were going to be doing was going to be going forward to my website. And you said, I've got that perfect person, Sammy. I said, oh no, truly you haven't, but truly you did. And here we are. Here's Sammy. And she, so that's how I got to work with Sammy as well. Yeah.
I think obviously for you, how in terms of like actually having like a sort of, I guess almost like a trusted recommendation, obviously that must have been quite helpful for you, not having to kind of then go away, like research, trying to find a designer and, that whole process. Do you feel like it really benefited you to have like more of a collaborative team that worked together, had a similar ethos, I guess, in a way?
Oh, 100%, because I knew what I was doing with Lee was not only, giving me my client avatars, and also she was going to help me with how to put the wording across. But all I had to do is obviously say yes, no, or is that me? Is that really me? Yeah, do I like being called this? Is that my person? She just sent it to you. And I didn't really have to think about creating pages, because you knew exactly what to do. You knew where Lee's particular information was going to be going, whether it was on this page, that page. And we worked through Asana. Now, again, that is very good. I mean, Sammy, you're amazing at it. I did take a little bit of a learning curve. I am an email lady, but I did try and work the app. But it was really clever how that was all structured, and you had little targets and criterion, filled in a few forms. And honestly, it just saved me hours. And it was done, really, we worked together from June till September, and it was live in October. I mean, that's nothing at all, is it? Whereas probably if I was thinking about it, I'd still be going, I must get a website, must do that. Who will I, must do it. And it hasn't. And it's just brilliant, because I can now send people, go to my Alison Marcuse-Harris website and you'll see everything there. And it's just lovely. Yeah, you worked really, really well.
Oh, I'm so pleased. I mean, obviously for me, it was an absolute joy to you know, have the words in place, and obviously have all the hard work that you and Lee had done together about kind of really finding your ideal client and that mission. Obviously you came to me with all that clarity, which is amazing for me as a designer, because then I can then and obviously the branding, you know, starting to kind of put that vision together and what that looks like, and how we can infuse all of that, you know, into your branding and your new logo. And I know you were sort of feeling like with your existing branding, it wasn't quite, you didn't quite feel right with it anymore, you know, you'd moved on. And so it was like rediscovering who the brand was. And it was very quick to me from talking to you, and obviously we had a couple of hour strategy call where we could talk about, you know, all that sort of clarity work you've done. And it was just so obvious to me very quickly that you were your brand. Like, you are what makes you unique, which sounds silly because obviously we all are, but I think your personality is so strong in what you do that I knew that that was what had to come through in the logo, in your branding, and in that visual representation, that it's you know, your personality is pretty infectious, and you obviously
annoying.
You know, making people feel welcome at your classes, you know, the way you talk about your clients that come to your classes, your lovely ladies, you know, it's just so lovely. And it was like, how can we kind of bring that through and make sure that that then connects with your audience? Because obviously, you know, you work with you know, people in your local community. Obviously a lot of them, you know, come to your live classes, and then you've got your online, and how we can expand that. And so it was like really how we can get that to kind of talk to the right people who you want to, you know, attracting.
And I think what you did very cleverly, Sammy, was actually you created this brand for the now, but actually you've created my brand for the going forward as well, for when I develop my workshops or develop the retreats that content planner is going to come involved with, Lee. And you know, there's just, and I think the colors that you chose, and you were also very kind as well, and I hope you don't mind me saying, but you also contacted me with the photographer, Emily. And so that then, when another little bit of info and nugget that you were able to say, you know, well, we know this photographer, she knew exactly what, she spoke with you, Sammy, and you gave her the dimensions and where you were going to put it on my website. So again, I didn't have to go and find somebody at myself and go, well, actually, you know, I've got this particular place I want to. Emily just knew exactly what to take because she'd spoken with you, and it just took all that time away for me to find somebody. So that was another little nugget that you both gave as well. But yeah, and as to say, the brand, you created my own special, unique, amazing logo that nobody else will have, and only me has got it on my, and it's just how you did it as well. It's from the 3 pillars, because I do Pilates, strength and stretch, and that's what I'm very passionate about teaching, and have become more passionate since having my branding done, and obviously the chat with Lee. Yeah, I know, it's brilliant. Honestly, it has changed my way of talking to people and thinking, and you don't know how much, you know, I feel probably a little bit emotional talking about it, because
you're gonna make me cry now.
I think it was a little bit of rock bottom, and people do get there, you know, you're always trying to give, aren't you? We're givers, we're in the business of givers, and sometimes you just want somebody to give back to you, and that's what you both did for me. Forever grateful. Anyway,
I can't speak
I was
now.
talking about branding. You're so clever. You're so clever. How you know, that's why you do you. We all do each other, isn't it? Or we all do what we do because we've all got our definite niche, and mine's definitely not branding or creative writing. I think I'm a this and thou person. Anyway,
and it shouldn't be like, it doesn't need to be. That's the thing, isn't it? When you're, you know, training in your own field, you're not meant to be expert at, you know, the marketing, at the writing, at the web. You know, it's a lot. I mean, some people do take it on themselves and DIY it, and that's great if you want to, but I think it's a lot to take on, and it gets very overwhelming, and you get into the rabbit holes. And I think what's so lovely about working together is that it's that support, and as you say, it's like a bit of giving back to you. People, you know, we're here to listen to you, work on your brand, dedicate that time to you. And to hear you say that you're feeling even more passionate about what you're doing, and even more in it with your branding and everything, is music to our ears, and it is exactly the result we want for you and for the clients that we work with. That is the gold dust, as we would say.
Truly, I can't. Yeah, it really is. And you're very forefront of my every day, because obviously I see it. So yeah, lucky you two.
More, you can never get away from us.
No. Well, I'm glad.
So just to take a step back for a minute, because I'm not quite sure that we fully tapped into this. Alison, when you came to me initially, how were you feeling? What had you I feel like you've tried a few bits and pieces, and you were in a particular space that we kind of needed to shift out of, and that was quite a big part of our initial work together. And I just wondered if you would mind sharing a little bit of that.
No, well, it was, and I think that's where I think I probably realised I was quite a low ebb, and I felt as if I lacked a lot of confidence, and I was usually such a confident person, and we all got a little bit of insecurity sometimes. And I was finding I maybe had a little bit of an imposter syndrome, because all these other people were doing amazing, and they were doing Zoom, and they were getting all these people. I was in Facebook, and was I in the right place? And I was moving the furniture around. And even before then, you know, I was working in the community. I've got a family, I've got twin girls, and a husband, a dog, and they were quite demanding. And it was very much just my part-time job then. And I think COVID suddenly stopped all of that and suddenly stripped you back. And I think I've just got overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, I'm teaching, I'm AMH Fitness. I was AMH Fitness then. So for you all now, Feel Good Movement Coach, AMH Fitness, I'm going to kind of leave them to decide which they prefer. And AMH Fitness is my initials, Alison Marcuse-Harris, but it didn't really mean anything. It was just fitness. What people were coming, well, what do you do? And I think then I started to think more about it. And yeah, so when we very first had our conversation, I didn't even know who my ideal client was, I don't think. I just had these people coming to my classes, and I loved them, and I thought they were the people I wanted to help and get stronger and in themselves, in their body, in themselves. And then when you sort of helped me talk it through, which was a very clever way you did it, and you were very calm and very just, you know, we need to stop now, and we need to come back, bring us back, because I could sort of go on and on and on. And I realized then that, yes, there's probably a little bit more underlying, but I think I just lacked a little bit of my own confidence that actually I was all right. I was quite good. And what I needed to know was that I'm the joyful jester, and that I can give out joy. And I must say, we did have quite a few conversations about this Feel Good Movement Coach, and I wrote it down. And I always remember Lee going, right, I've just got something to tell you, but just sit with it, take a little breath, sit with it for a few days, and then come back to me. And can you not send me all these emails just in one email? And I remember sitting up for about a week, and then Lee came back going, are you okay? Have you thought about it? So I thought, oh, that was the right thing. And yeah, and that is what you were very clever at giving me, the time and the space, just to say, look, you know, you need to sit with these things. And the more you sit with them, the more you talk about it, and the more you, yes, I am the Feel Good Movement Coach, because I love people to move, and I love people to feel good. And yeah, and then as soon as you said it, that was it. It was something I just thought, oh my goodness, yeah. So yes, I hope I've explained myself well enough to think that it's all right to feel a little bit lackluster and needing, as long as you find that right person, and I did, that can help lift me out again, and realize that actually it was just the time. And COVID's hit a lot of people, hasn't it? And I know that we shouldn't talk about that word all the time, but probably a blessing in a way for me. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's those things, isn't it, that's, well, as you say, it hit everybody and everybody reacted in different ways, but sometimes, you know, there are those silver linings that, as you say, it does kind of give you some space to stop and think, otherwise you can just keep going, you know. And I think, you know, we all were doing that to a certain extent, and then that just gave us a little bit of a pause to be like, okay, where am I? And you know, whether that's a bit wobbly at the time. No, I definitely went through that, but it's nice to think, well, actually, you know, try and look at it as, you know, this has given me some time and space to actually rethink and reconnect and work out, you know, where I want to go in the future.
And I think I felt alone before. I felt as if I was really on my own trying to work things through. And then all of a sudden I had you both, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not on my own anymore. You know, there are people there that can, you know, pick little bits out of me that, you know, yeah. So that was yes, that was another lovely, because I think as an instructor, we are very much on our own. You know, we plan our classes. You know, I used to, back in the day, years and years ago, do lots of leisure centres and teach step and aerobics and body balance. And I moved on from there when I had family. But so we are the whole, you know, we do our accounts, we do our marketing, we, you know, tick the register for when they come into class, we set their mats out, we choose our music, we create things, you know, so very much you're on your own. So for me then to give somebody else something to do, I was thinking, oh great, they can do that then. And they, you know, so yeah, working with other people. And I think it's so important because they give you different things. So never feel you're on your own. I hope that people don't. And you aren't, you pair of you, because you're together. Digital gold dust.
Yeah. And that was part of the podcast as well, wasn't it? Is that thing of like, it's lonely being, you know, running your own business. And that's why we kind of wanted our podcast to be quite informal and feel like a conversation, feel like we're sitting down with you, hopefully, you know, with a cup of tea or your morning coffee, or joining you on your walk, whatever you're doing, you know, to say that, you know, these things, we all feel that way, or we all, you know, might lose our way a little bit. And it's nice to know you're not alone in that. And as you say, it's quite hard to look at your own business in that way, you know, where we've got fresh eyes, we've got a different perspective, obviously we've got our expertise. And so it's like, as you say, those little conversations are something you might not even think of is special to you or what makes you stand out, whereas we can more easily see that. And it's nice, you know, to pick those things out that you can't always do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And to give you a permission slip to slow the fuck down and stop being in reaction mode, because you were in what you were talking about there with me slowing you down with the emails thing, was because you were in this sort of really reactive state, which was partly the menopausal thing, partly the COVID thing, partly this sort of new process of unpicking and figuring stuff out. You're kind of like and it was all about giving you that permission to slow down, chill. You don't have to be emailing immediately and being immediately responsive. You could take that time to mull things over and sit with stuff in a much more reflective way, and be comfortable with emerging as yourself, because you're checking in and realigning constantly through the process, rather than right, that's done, on to the next thing, and then getting to a point where you're like, oh wait, did I want that to be how it is?
And yes, you're right, because that's what happened with us quite, you know, very early on in our chat, Lee. You know, it did happen a lot, and it does take a while to get out of that routine that you're almost in a panic that, oh my god, if I don't get back to anybody. But yes, I think I've slipped into it a little bit now, but so I need to obviously come back down again. So this is a really good good chat to have as well. Yeah.
Well, and you're a high energy person, and the kind of work that you do requires high energy and kind of that movement and that not quite hustle, but that kind of doing. So
And yeah, I want
having
everybody.
that coming back
Yeah.
bit is quite important for you as a practice, I think.
Yes, I do love when people come into class, or even when you see people. It's people don't. They've come and they've taken their hour out of their day, and you want to make that a valuable hour that they go away feeling really good about themselves. And I think that's what I kept saying to you, and which is where obviously that, and how, Lee, you managed to come up with the amazing mission statement that you did for me. It was just, I think it must have taken you, oh my goodness, here it is, it's Alison again. We've got, no. Lee's very, very clever in how she creates words and depicts things and creates an image in your mind,
But it's all you. It was always all you.
And so we never see that, do we? Because and as Sammy said, it's the fresh eyes that we need. Yeah.
It was things that you were saying, but then when you were seeing them play back, you're like, this is really clever. You said it, Alison.
Yeah.
It's just that I heard you say it.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. And then it's articulating it, isn't it, in that written form, which is where I think a lot of us get hung up. It's like, oh, now I've got to try and write that out. Whereas when you're just in a discussion or when you're talking and those things slip out, that's just when it's all really genuine and authentic. And then if you're trying to actually write it down, that's when it can be quite hard. And I think what you were talking about before, about the kind of slowing down and being reflective and coming back, and does that feel right, is so important, because like you said, you want a business that you can grow into, that you feel there's room to grow into, that is there for you now and there to support you in the future. And not to have something that in 6 months time or a year's time you're going to feel a bit, oh, this doesn't feel right again, because we didn't spend that time to sort of be like, hang on, and I know the branding, I had to take quite a lot of time to reflect, to really see, like, is this right, and does that feel right? And I had a couple of options on the go, and I know we talked through a couple of options straight away, like, I've put this one together because I feel like you might like that, but I was like, to me it just doesn't feel right. And you're like, yeah, no, the color, I like the colors, and then when we talked about it, you're like, no, yeah, that first one is the one that really sort of seems to suit. I think that is important, because it can be quite easy to sort of, as you say, like, rush on and be like, yeah, okay, that's lovely. But if we don't take that time to really sort of reflect and sit with it, as Lee said, that's what's going to really kind of put you in good stead for the long term, which is what we want.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say about that, when you presented these two different images for me on color scheme, should I say, and I automatically went with the vibrant, the orange, that and yeah, and then I could see Sammy's face thinking, well, and then again sat with it and realized that actually the people, my client avatar, that they're the colors that you chose. And oh my goodness, when I go back to my Instagram feed or I look on my Facebook, I just think, gosh, that's so much. It is calmer, it is something, and that is more me. So as you say, yeah, different eyes again, but it was great to have the two options. And as you say, you must have taken forever to come up with all these, because you do get a very, very extensive, may I say, as I hold up my numerous pieces of paper to you both that you presented with my soulmate clients, and I get my mission statement, and it's just really clever how you've managed to sort of detail it out. And then obviously I've got all my bits and pieces from Sammy with the colors, the branding, the logo, and you also helped me with my Canva. So you set up all my templates in my Canva. And so now it's really easy for me to go in. I choose the branding colors. I click it on the Canva post, and, I don't have to then go in and think, oh, which colors did I choose? So that was another real huge saving that now for me, when I go and create a Canva, I think I've got that colour, and it just fits so well there, and a little squiggle and my logo. Yeah. So that was another brilliant thing to have.
Yeah, because it's nice for like your clients if they're finding you on, places like Facebook or Instagram, that when they come through and they go to book a class or they come to find out more information on your website, that feels consistent, that feels like it's the same vibe. So yeah, it's nice to be able to sort of bring all that together. And as you say, it then saves you hours sort of having, Canva's amazing, but my God, the options are endless. And that can just take hours in itself, choosing a template, to use.
Well, and also because and Lee, I don't know whether you're Instagram or Facebook. My clients are a lot on Facebook. Instagram's more of a little, again, it's a little bit of a shop window, and it's ever evolving, isn't it? But on a feed, you just scroll through, and you just think, and you could just miss it. So you could spend hours on this Canva template that you then post in, and all this wording, and then somebody's just scrolled through, and you think, oh, there we are. That took me hours. So
yeah,
if you can get somebody else to do that for you and think of a few little words, then that's another thing that really I can spend more of my time planning my classes and creating other things like that. So
so obviously now you've got your colors, you've got your beautiful shiny logo, you've got your amazing website, you've got that messaging. How do you feel about your business and your brand identity now, Alison, and what are you going to do with that feeling?
Well, I was frightened you were going to ask me that question, because it's always the hardest one, isn't it? And it's almost about where am I now? And I did think about that question. I feel I'm teaching Feel Good Movement now, which I call myself, I'm the Feel Good Movement coach. People ask me, what am I? I'm not AMH Fitness. What is that? I am the Feel Good Movement coach, and people understand me more. And I feel now I'm delivering classes, not just Pilates and stretch, but they're feel good Pilates, they're feel good stretch. I'm creating people's awareness that to feel good in their bodies isn't necessarily about coming just to lift your arm, move to Pilates, but it's about, and I'm trying to give them value for, you're feeling good because you're coming to a community class. And yes, I gave that before, but I feel I'm giving them more now, and I'm explaining myself more, and I talk to my ideal client when I've got them in front of me. And I remember when my website went live, going back in October, and I posted it on Facebook and I posted on Instagram, and all of a sudden I had these 3 people from Facebook, my ideal clients, saying, please can I have a little one-to-one, and then I will, what my service I offer is a one-to-one, and then teach them a few some moves and what we're going to be doing, and then they lead into a beginner's or not a beginner's, a more gentle approach to Feel Good Pilates. And these 3 people are still with me, so I'm really blessed that I know. So that's a real lovely thing. And Claire, if you're listening, she's adorable, and she's still with me, and I think I'm busier. I think I'm busier with my classes, with the people, and they say, oh, can I do another class? But I have to draw the line and say, no, I'm doing these classes, and if please come to these ones. If the time doesn't suit, I'm really sorry. And I'm saying no. People don't like to say no, but I am trying to say no. So that for me, I never did. I was always like, oh, yes. I not rely necessarily on Instagram and Facebook, because not always are they going to be there. You need to reach out to an email list, which, and I feel more confident that I know where to go, whereas before I probably would have just tried everything. Whereas, so I feel where I am now, and I smile, and when I look at my website, and I smile when I look at my logo, and I think I'm a lot more confident as well. So
really you're in such a great place. We're both so proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hard work to get there. So yeah, enjoy it.
a lot of soul searching. I think there's always you never stop learning either, do you? You're always thinking about the next thing. You're really good, both of you, on that scale as well, that you know that you know, we all want everything done instantly, but actually it won't get you that right result instantly. You need to take your time doing it. So so we're always forever learning and forever trying to be better, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, at the end of the day. And I don't think that means filling lots of classes. I think it just means just making sure people are aware of what you do, and just making sure people aren't stuck, you know, and that they know they've got somebody, if it's not now, in a few months' time, that they've got somebody that they can come to and help them.
And it's also very important that your business works for you as well, as a person, as a wife, as a mum. You know, all those things, like your life and your family are an important part of that. And obviously Ziggy,
I know.
dear gorgeous Ziggy. So you know, it's good, as you say, that you've got to that place where you feel like you can say an empowered no, like not just putting on more classes because that's what fits with everyone else's schedule, like what fits for your schedule, and keeping on track with how you want things to be for you is really important. And it's not always so easy, as you say, to do that. And that's wonderful that you've got to that, you know, feel comfortable to do that.
So in your zone of genius, Alison, because this podcast is for other kindred spirits and for conscious business owners, what tips do you have for injecting feel-good movement into life in general as a conscious business owner, do you think?
Definitely get the steps in. So you'll feel good. It's so important just to get your body moved, especially now with the sunshine. Try and set little goals, and they don't have to be big goals. If you're used to doing 6,000-7,000 steps, I know people are stuck behind desks, just try and up it to 8,000. And that can be, you know, just marching on the spot. I do a walk fit online, and funnily enough, on Monday, we did 4,500 steps in half an hour. And you kind of work up a little bit of a perspiration, but there's so much on YouTube that you can do if you find that you can't get out. Feel good that way. Join a class if you can with other like-minded people that you have fun with. There's nothing worse than turning up and you feel worried. Don't ever feel worried going into a class. If you're worried about going to a community class, communities are the best way to start, because the instructor and the people just want to know you. They don't want you to feel isolated. If it's a gym environment, then go with a friend, or just ask somebody to come, or just go and say I'm going to go and do 10 minutes. If you do 15, 20, that's a bonus. And try and just do something for you once a day that you enjoy. And if that's chatting on Zoom now with other friends, like listening to podcasts, sitting down, you know, and I think that kind of is me. Go walking the dog with other people. I mean, I'm because of what I do in my teaching, I don't get to do it very often, and I try and do it on a Friday or a Saturday. But that's always really good for the soul. You know, you just switch off. And I know it's very easy to carry one of these around, isn't it? And you're constantly looking and scrolling, but you really need to just put the phone down every now and again and switch off. And smile and laugh. If you can, laugh a day. So something like that, yes. Very simple in my words, but
yeah, simple's best.
Drink lots of water. Because dehydration it's really quite difficult for your body not to. And if I don't drink enough water, I suffer other ways. You know, I don't have IBS as such, but you know, I know that I need to drink the water to keep the body moving as well as movement.
Okay, so if there was one thing you want listeners to take away from our episode, if we started the phrase, "Dear Soulful Business Owner, I wish you knew," space, how would you fill it? What would you like our listeners to come away with from this episode?
That if you feel lost or stuck or just needing these extra little flares or nuggets of help, to contact these gorgeous girls that will help them set their business. And even if it's not now, even if it's in the pipeline, or if it's just been something that they've been thinking about doing, they need to just do it, because it really does lift you. And even if they're in that happy place and they've got their website and there's always little tweaks, or there's always little bits of other information. And yeah, these girls are amazing. And I think I'm just going to say that.
Oh,
Just contact these two, and have a little look at my website. And if you're in the Tysoe, Ox Hill, Warwickshire area, come and find me and have a cup of tea and have a walk and come and join some Feel Good movement. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Alison, for being a lovely guest on our podcast. And thank you for reaching out to us, because I know speak for me and Lee, that we found an absolute joy to work with you. So and it's lovely to talk to you today and have you on the podcast.
Oh, thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of the podcast with this season. What season are you on now?
Season 2.
Season 2. Fabulous. Good luck, girls.
Thank you so much.